Aloha, friends and family, and welcome back to the reading of our cosmic origin. All right, we're picking it up in chapter 17, Cosmic Cycles and the Precession of the Equinoxes. Something to understand about our existence is that everything is cyclical by nature. From the moment the cosmic From the moment of cosmic conception, everything proceeds in circular form. This circular form is an established rhythm that starts at the highest level of existence and descends involution outward and evolution inward as it perfects itself in never-ending infinite spirals, one space level at a time. In other words, at the point of this immaculate conception, when the always existing omniverse decided to divide and fractalize itself, there was only space and no time. Time began as a result of its expansion, involution. For a time became a construct of measuring where a point begins and another point ends, the alpha and omega. This alpha and omega are just one cycle or one gigantic megahertz, and at the end of an alpha omega cycle, a new alpha omega cycle begins. We may compare this cycle to one universal round, which expands our always existing central universe one space level at a time. In this sense, time becomes a measuring device or tool designed by the always existing central universe as a way to determine all its points and conjunctions that mark all events that will ever transpire and have ever transpired as it expands forever outward. From a higher perspective, in the celestial spheres, it's all happening at once. And from a lower perspective, in the material spheres, it's all relative, happening in succession, segments, or fractals, which is the whole dividing itself in order to experience more of itself as it explores every level of its own being. However, let it be known that before the great beginning of space and time, involution, there was an only pure potential force. This unqualified absolute began the process of dividing itself, so it set out to complete what is known in esoteric studies as one universal round of the cosmic process known as the descent and ascent of the great God force. This is a process that is ultimately controlled by a cosmic meta central sun and the great central suns of all universes, who are the timekeepers on every level of existence. This process repeats again and again as the grand central universe rotates like a clock in circular form. And that is why it is always spinning new universes into existence as we expand one outer space level at a time into infinity. Cosmic time is a governing force just like gravity, and it is controlled by rotation and spin, which is what produces all the forces that hold and bind universes together. Cosmic time is, therefore, a circle rather than a line. In fact, our entire cosmos is one big rotating circle within circles down to the atoms. A circle, like a clock, begins at the top, making its way round the clock, full circle, to repeat the same cycle again, and each time it does, it gathers more experience. This is backed by the Urantia material and all other spiritual resources, not to mention by the Mayan calendar, which has been the keeper of the great cosmic spin behind all sacred time that harmonizes all living things in our cosmos. Sacred time is the measurement and relationship between all living things as it harmonizes into one great symphony, as everything is interconnected with everything else. It is neither linear nor limited, but a force that is everywhere at once and infinite. Divine time is also the harmony of all things, as opposed to man-made time, which is a disharmony of all things. These cosmic cycles of time and the harmony of the cosmos, from the macro to the micro, have always been understood and acknowledged by the ancient, spiritually advanced cultures that flourished before the flood. For instance, based on the understanding of divine time, the ancients knew more about astronomy than what we have barely discovered today in the 21st century. They not only understood the heliocentric model that the Earth, with other planets, revolves around our sun, but that our solar system itself revolved around a greater sun in the cycle of 25,000 years. Even the Greek philosopher Plato referred to this cycle as the Platonic year, which is the revolution of our solar system around the central sun of its parent source, Alcyone, as it travels around the zodiac. Today, this greater revolution, known as the precession of the Equinoxes, I think it's supposed to be procession of the Equinoxes, is gaining more ground within our scientific community as astronomers peek deeply farther into our skies. By understanding what is now referred to as the precession of the equinoxes, maybe it is precision, it's written as precision of the equinoxes, the ancients would know where we were in the grand scheme of things. Since they knew about the zodiac, they understood our solar system's relationship with all stars and constellations within our galaxy as it traveled a circular path throughout space in greater revolutions. Since the ancients were in tune with cosmic time, they were able to plan beforehand everything before it happened. They know when to grow crops, for example, when the next solar or lunar eclipse would occur, and most importantly, when a new age would begin and where we were headed in every moment of time based on precise mathematical, astronomical conjunctions. In general, they knew that everything happening in our world was directly influenced by the movements of the earth and the heavens. This also provides more evidence that our universe is holistic. Everything is interconnected. So what happens above in the macro also reflects below in the micro. Equally important to understand in reference to sacred time is that all celestial bodies, from planets to stars, are vibrators of frequencies, and depending on where our solar system is located in the heavens, it takes on new energies as certain intercrossing points generate different vibrations that influence our world. Even among the esoteric circles, it is well understood that each age brings in a new energy field that determines the quality of what kind of world it will be. According to mystical traditions, each age is governed by a constellation, and each constellation has its own frequency, and all frequencies are produced by the cosmic transmission that resonates at the center of our galaxy. In other words, all celestial bodies get their spin and frequency from the central sun of our galaxy. For it is well understood now that the central sun of our galaxy generates and transmits cosmic energy outward from its center, influencing all stars and planets as indicated by the theory of centrifugal force, which is energy going outward from its center. In this sense, time is related to astrogeny, the ancient science that astrology is derived from, as a method of keeping track of our planet and solar system in relationship with other stars, planets, and most important, with the great central sun of our galaxy. We may therefore conclude that the ancients had an unerring mathematical system that tracked all events and turning points and lived in harmony with it. Maybe that is why they experienced the Golden Age, as they understood the harmonics of life and strived to live in harmony with all living things. In truth, it is this resonance that determines all conditions in existence. For example, all solar systems in our galaxy, including the millions of worlds, are vibrating to the frequency transmission that is emanating from our central sun at the center of our galaxy. So when our galaxy's central sun transmits a new frequency, which is what is happening now, all solar systems change to match its new resonance. This is done via what is known as supergalactic photon fields of light that emanate from the central hub of our galaxy. The Pleiadians refer to these high energy fields as supergalactic highways of light, and it's the source of spontaneous evolution happening everywhere in our galaxy. It appears that our solar system is emerging in one of the various supergalactic photon fields that is shifting the resonance of our solar system into a new spin, a new vibration, a new heaven on earth. Considering this, we may conclude that a new emanation of higher energy is shifting reality in our world and our solar system. It is now confirmed by all celestial intelligence that indeed this photon field resonance that emanates from the galactic center is what causes great and sudden changes in all living things throughout the galaxy. The changes are detectable not only in the planets, our sun, and most importantly in our DNA, as our scientists began noticing these unexplained anomalies. According to the Mayan scholars, our Earth and its solar system are poised to once again enter one of these high resonating fields of supercharging energy, as it does twice every 25,000 years. More so, our cutting-edge science has also confirmed the idea of a rare galactic alignment with the center of our galaxy that is taking place now and these days, and has to do with the completion of a 230 million year cycle. Now in turn, our galaxy's central sun and its many photonic galactic fields are vibrating to the frequencies of our local universe, great central sun, in which our galaxy and 11 other galaxies revolve around. In turn, our universe's central sun is vibrating to the frequency of our super universe's great central sun, as it is also vibrating to the cosmic pulse of the mother universe's cosmic great central sun. All ancient cultures understood this, and that is why their calendars, which are precise measurements of these sacred cosmic alignments with photon fields, were destroyed. However, one sacred culture preserved these alignments and their sacred calendars, knowing that a time would come when they would be unearthed and understood. This culture was the Mayans. According to the higher restored knowledge, the Mayans were directly seeded by the Pleiadians right before the fall of Atlantis in order to preserve the sacred calendars. These were the same sacred calendars that were given to the ancient Egyptians, Atlanteans, Lemurians, Romanians, and the Yu culture, YU, that flourished before the fall of Atlantis, as they were also given to the early Hebrews, the Dogon tribe of Africa, and the native indigenous cultures of the Americas, who were genetically related to the early Hebrews. Apparently, the higher intelligence knew of the Atlantean decline and understood that the new powers that took over the affairs of our planet would eventually destroy any recollection of the sacred calendar. Again, these ancient sacred calendars kept perfect track of all the celestials and planetary movements, all solar and lunar eclipses with precise mathematical calculation, and all events that have ever transpired and events that are going to transpire based on the understanding of all intersecting points in the cosmos. In fact, the Mayans were named after the second star system, Maya, of the Pleiadian seven sisters, who were chosen to hide this prophetic code that would emerge when the time was right, in preparation for the transformation and restoration of our planet before December 2022, which is the real completion of the Mayan calendar. It is no coincidence that the higher intelligence planned for the emergence of the great sacred calendar in our times, 1970 AD. Just when the Western world thought that they discovered the idea of our world as a sphere that revolves around our local sun with other planets, the Mayans, as well as all the other ancient cultures, understood the revolution of not only our solar system around Alcyone, Pleiadian central sun, but also knew about the revolution that our solar system and Alcyone make around the great central sun at the center of our Milky Way galaxy. It was precisely this greater revolution that our solar system, along with Alcyone around our galactic center, was recorded to be known as one universal round, marking the completion of the 206 to 225 million year cycle that our astronomers have recently discovered. As mentioned earlier, we live in a holographic existence, and the concept of 12 going around the 1 is repetitive on every level. For example, according to astrological and astronomical knowledge, our solar system takes about 2,160 years to travel through one of the 12 houses of the zodiac. The 25,000-year revolution is what is known as the precession of the equinoxes, and it further divided into shorter world ages of about 5,100 years, a total of 5. It is this 5,100 year period the Mayans referred to as the long count, or 13th Bactans. According to the long count, the last world age began at around 3114 BC and terminates in December 21st, 2012 AD, but really 2020 to 2022 non-Gregorian calendar, completing a long count world age cycle. In understanding the precession of the equinoxes, or what Plato called the Great Platonic Year, we may now see how a toroid-shaped field discovered by our astronomers called the photon belt is the reason why the Earth recycles herself every 25,000 years or so. It turns out that as our solar system enters one of the many photon belts for a period of 2,000 years, corresponding to the rise of all golden ages that have ever existed, it is believed that when we are in the photon belt, our Earth experiences ages of light and balance due to the high resonance that vibrates with the galactic center. Apparently, all photon fields automatically transmute all vibrations into higher frequencies of vibrating light, allowing humans to connect with their light bodies, which link us to the central sun. Since our solar system enters it twice in a 25,000 year cycle, our solar system experiences 2 ages of light, a total of 5,000 years of peace when it is in the photon band, and as it travels through the long dark nights. Outside of the photon band, it reflects dark ages for a period of 20,000 years, a 10,000 year interval between 2 periods of light. For instance, when our solar system travels furthest from the band at apogee, it experiences the lowest vibrations. In like manner, as it travels close or in the photon band at perigee point, it experiences the highest vibrations, which correlate to the ages of light being within the higher energy field that emanates from the ecliptic of our galactic equator. It was well understood by all ancient sacred cultures that the Platonic year of the precession of the equinox is divided by what all ancient traditions call the 5 world ages. In India, they are known as the 5 yugas. The first world age is known as the Golden Age, which corresponds to the time period our solar system spends inside the radiation zone of the photon belt. As it leaves the photon belt, it ends a half phase of the first world age, a period of 2,000 or so years. Then it begins the Silver Age, another 2,160 years, which is still producing a fairly peaceful, benign society, though, however, with a bit 1/4 of darkness beginning to lurk. Together, the Golden and the Silver Age make up what all ancient cultures call the First World Age, or Krita Yuga that lasts about 5,000 years or so. Now, as we finish what might seem a 5,000 or so year cycle, which is 2,160-year cycles, we experience 1/5 of the 25,000-year Great Platonic Cycle. As our solar system goes further out from the photon band of monastic high-energy emission, finishing its first world age, or a 5,000-year period, it begins a new 5,000-year period known as the Second World Age, and now we are about 2/5 in the Great Platonic Year, entering the epoch of what is known as the Second World Age of Treta Yuga. This world age is commonly known as the blending of silver and bronze, and it is where we begin to fall from paradise as darkness begins to gain ground. When the Second World Age, Tetra Yuga, ends, the Third World Age begins, also known as the Dwapara Yuga, and this is a mixture of bronze and iron and marks a period where darkness increases to 3/5 and the beginning of tyranny begins to take root. Now, by the time we enter the Third World Age, the Golden Silver Age begins to deteriorate because of the increase of evil. 3/5 that has occurred due to our solar system being further from the apogee of the meniscus radiation zone, or Minsky radiation zone. In the final world age, the last phase of the 25,000 Platonic year cycle, we enter the darkest period known to mankind. This is the Kali Yuga, and in the esoteric West, it is the Iron Age, or as many have come to discover, the age of hell on earth. In this age, our solar system is furthest from the messianic radiation at apogee point, and when darkness is absolute. The good news is that according to the sacred calendars of all ancient cultures, we are days away from ending the last world age, Kali Yuga, as we are also ending the last few years of the Great Platonic cycle of 25,000 years. In other words, we have completed a full circle around the Pleiadian central sun Alcyone once again, as we have 5,200 times before. Therefore, once again, we are poised to enter the monastic field of highly charged energy. According to Mayan scholar Greg Braden, it took our solar system 5,000 of 25,000 year cycles for our entire Pleiadian constellation to make a full circle around the great central sun of our Milky Way galaxy. In fact, since we are at the completion of this greater revolution, then perhaps our planet Earth will continue ascending without repeating any more dark ages. Let's hope so. Mayan scholars, as well as a good number of spiritual people, believe that the convergence of the precession of the equinoxes and the greater 230 million year cycle of the Pleiadians around our galaxy's great central sun marked the global event known as harmonic convergence in 1987. Indeed, we are living in the greatest times ever as we approach the closing of all cycles in the grand cosmic clock. A new heaven on earth will commence on earth for all life and all eternity, as described by John the Revelator. Furthermore, it could be possible that the completion of the 230 million year cycle marks the ascension of our entire galaxy and perhaps the ascension of our local universe. After all, it was revealed by Lord Michael that the entire 12th creation is now ready to come home, bringing us again into the first world age that will bring a new golden age or heaven on earth. Again, the idea of living closer to the Minsky fields of the central sun also corresponds to living in a higher dimension. In like manner, the further we are from the Minsky fields of the central sun, we embark on darkness. It appears that all worlds experience the same phenomena as we are all influenced by the positioning we take in the heavens relative to the great central sun and their offspring, the central suns of the constellations themselves. That is the good news the Mayan calendar brings to our world, not gloom and doom. Now, in light of the higher restored knowledge, we can conclude that the events leading towards the end of the great cycle are related to the idea that we are ending the age of Pisces, a 2160 cycle, I think it meant year cycle, as well as a world age 5,000 year cycle, a 25,000 year cycle Platonic year, and a 230 million year cycle, which is a grand cycle that our solar system, along with the Pleiades and Sirius systems, take around the center of our galaxy. Perhaps the completion of the seventh super universe of Orvietan would be final when all its local universes ascend. In light of this, could it be that not only are we ending a Platonic 25,000 year cycle, causing a planetary ascension, a 206 million year cycle causing the ascension of the entire constellation of the Pleiades, and further a greater cycle than the 230 million year one that marks the completion of our Milky Way galaxy, completing its revolution around the central sun of our local universe, causing the entire ascension of our universe. In summary, in these days to come, not only are we ending the 2160 year of Pisces as we begin Aquarius, but also ending the 13th Bactan's long count of the Mayans that began 3113 BC, as well as ending the 25,000 year cycle, as well as ending the greater 230 million year cycle, and finally ending greater cycles that apparently have not been mathematically calculated by our Earth scientists. All these cycles are culminating in the ascension of not only our planet, our constellation, our galaxy, our local universe, our major universe sector, which we talked about yesterday, governed by compassion, and finally completing our super universe, which is one segment of the entire grand central universe or metaverse, motherverse, that is now ready to complete the construction and organization of the first outer space level. After all, it was revealed in the Urantia material that the super universe of Orviton was incomplete. While speculating further, we may assume that the completion of Orviton is the greatest cycle completed in the overall descent of the already existing grand central spheres that is expanding one space level at a time. It was revealed by the Creator himself that the earth has been ethereally ascending into higher dimensions since 1998. For about almost 12,000 years, our planet has been stuck in the third dimension. As of 1998, it graduated into the fourth dimension as a fourth dimensional grid system began to form. By 2000, our world moved up into the fifth and sixth dimensions as a fifth and sixth etheric grid system began to form, and by 2001, it moved into the seventh dimension and has been there until 2020 to 2022, where we will be ascending into the eighth dimension, a new heaven on earth. Bear in mind that it has been a gradual process until it hits turning points where the old world age ends and the new world age begins. Also, according to the esoteric knowledge, this reactivation of our junk DNA will open our 7 chakras, which John the Revelator calls the opening of the 7 seals in the book of Revelation. This idea is supported by the Higher Council of Sirius, the Office of the Christ, and the Galactic Federation of Light, who is monitoring the entire transformation process that's taking place right now as we approach the Mayan galactic conjunction with the center of our galaxy. Something to understand is that all research points to the fact that this trigger reactivating our junk DNA begins with a few humans, and like a domino effect, it will gradually trigger the rest of humanity, or at least those that are going to be ready to shift into the fourth and fifth densities. This trigger also corresponds to the religious idea of the harvest of souls, for not everyone would have a chance to be exalted. Apparently, the wicked, sorcerers, and warmongers and NPCs are going to burst and burn away in the photon belt when this shift in dimensions takes place, for no negative energy or entity is allowed to exist in densities higher than the fourth after the ascension. It's a fact, after the ascension, all humans on earth are going to live for hundreds of years. But in these days to come, a new race of humans will emerge due to the shift in planetary density that will be able to live for thousands of years. As mentioned, they are already living among us, for they are what are known to be light workers. Like the rainbow and crystal children and rainbow and crystal adults, these new earth humans are here now in the millions. as reported by gifted people who sense their higher level energy field or aura. They are incarnating from the higher dimensions as proposed by the new science. This spiritual community believes that they are the returned angels that are helping to anchor the eighth dimensional energy for the ascension of our entire planet into the fifth and up dimensions, heaven on earth. Some call them the star people, who are now incarnating among us from the higher realms as our planet ascends into higher densities. It is believed that when our planet ascends, all the star people will become transformed into physical angels. They will be utilizing the power of their light body, as in the case of our celestial parents, the Pleiadian Nibirians. And most importantly, they will be the way showers and beacons of light for the rest of humanity to follow. Perhaps from a Christian perspective, this would be the many people who will become like Christ, performing miracles, walking on water, healing the sick, etc. For isn't it written in your own law that ye is gods, that ye are gods, said Jesus? Throughout history, this new breed of higher evolved humans has been coming one at a time. They were mainly the prophets, sages, philosophers, and of course the suppressed benevolent line of priest kings and queens who came from the direct line of the Pleiadian Nibirians. Now, thanks to the times that we are living in, the star people are incarnating in the masses and are living among us. In fact, they are going to be heroes and assisting other humans through the changes. They are not ADD, ADHD, or autistic. Please don't label them, for they are the forerunners of the new race of superior beings who have come to show the rest of us a higher way of living as we all prepare to transform into what our new science considers a population 2 stellar system space age civilization. There's that word stellar again. Unfortunately, a lot of the star children have been drugged to suppress their superior abilities. However, due to their superior DNA and the effects of the photon belt, it's not affecting them at all. In conclusion, the ancient prophecies that talked about the return of celestial beings in human form is the same emerging phenomena our scientists use to describe the emergence of the next phase of our evolutionary ascent, the rise of Homo nauticus, which will be the next stage in our evolutionary ascent into the higher realms. For we are at the culminating point in our evolution. Our DNA is changing to accommodate our new reality, which is heaven on earth, as we prepare to become part of a multi-dimensional existence. The final leap for mankind draws near. Mankind is becoming exalted, and death shall be no more. And when we return, my friends and family, we will pick it up at chapter 18, a vision of the 2,000 years. We leave you in the love and the light of the infinite Creator. Until next time.